The citizens of Barbados are now completely, formally responsible for all of the affairs of their country. I extend my sincere congratulations and best wishes to you.
Well, I think as we get older, the importance does fade, because like when we were in primary school and stuff, like we've got enough quizzes and stuff like that, and everybody's be all excited. But no, I don't really concern myself with a lot of those things, so I think it is fading.
The night of independence, I had been assigned to accompany the El Salvadorian ambassador. I should preface this by saying that prior to the run-up to independence, I had translated, rather interpreted, for a number of South American ambassadors, interpreted for our then Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Ariel Barrow, and the El Salvadorian ambassador fell to me as my responsibility to accompany the night of independence. So I was here on the savannah explaining to him, because he didn't speak a word of English. I would say that I shared in the general feeling of euphoria, because there was a great shout and people were talking to each other, and there was palpable excitement. But I was also aware that prior to the formal declaration of independence, there were some self-doubts, and I had heard people primarily of an older generation discussing independence in some respects as if it perhaps would have been a threat to their well-being. There, as I said, among some individuals there was a feeling that independence might not fulfill all the promises that it held out. But for the younger generation that I belonged to at that point in time, no, independence seemed to promise change. It seemed to promise well-being for everybody. As I said, there was a general feeling of positive expectation for what was going to happen. I did think then, and perhaps misguidedly so, that we would be able to strike out on our own and make decisions that were good for us. And the reality of the world doesn't operate along those lines. The world is an interconnected world, and other areas far more powerful than us can bring pressure to bear sometimes that we may only be vaguely aware of. So one had one's expectations, but those expectations were quickly tempered by the realities of the situation. And I think over time, once again to the euphoria of the 1970s and the experiments with democratic socialism and other forms of empowerment, once they played themselves out and we entered then the age of globalization, I think that most people have realized that true independence really is a chimera. It's like the holy grail that's hovering there, but it's never really attainable. One of the things about forecasts is how quickly they're proven to be wrong. But we have to be adaptable, and we have to recognize that to survive in this new world of shifting alliances, climate change, and shifting parameters, of organization, we don't get left behind. We have been very successful as a small nation in piggybacking and leaping into almost the realm of the developed nations of the world. We've come a long way since independence, but we can't sit back on our laurels and say, because we've come a long way, we can sit back with a self-satisfied smirk on our face and say, we've made it. Because if we do that, then we've lost the game.